Hey there.
How are you?
Doing well. Can you see me and hear me?
I can see you and hear you, and I think hopefully everyone else can as well. You're live on stage.
Uh,
Uh, Let me give
Stay
you a
quiet.
quick introduction, and then I'll pass the mic to you to introduce the audience to Subversive.
Sounds
Um,
great.
so Ian's chief of products and services at Subversive. He's a 13-year veteran of the video game industry. He leads Subversive's interactive team in developing custom digital experiences for clients as well as AR and VR products for the retail space. Subversive is an immersive innovation studio focused on creating content, software, and experiences that transform businesses on a global scale. With deep roots in virtual and augmented reality, as well as cutting edge products like StoreViz and Lens.io, Subversive uses all types of emerging tech to solve complex problems in fresh new ways. I'll hand it off to Ian now to talk about how Subversive brings AR to e-commerce. Ian, thank you for being here, and the floor is yours.
Awesome, man. Thank you. All right, I'm going to try and present here. Hopefully this goes well. Is this showing up?
It is.
Very cool. All right, so as Stu mentioned, we're Subversive. We're an emerging technology company based out of Austin, Texas. We've been in business for a little over 5 years, depending on how you choose to count the clock. These are just a few of the brands and companies that we've worked for and alongside. And so what do we do there at Subversive? Now, that story has changed a lot over the years, but, the story we've been settling on is that we're a technology innovation company. And there are a couple of majors that we probably focus most on. Virtual reality, both real-time rendered and pre-rendered, has really been a strong suit of ours. We have done some work in machine learning and machine learning-based computer vision. Some people call that AI computer vision, using ML Edge. And then we have a lot of work that we've done recently in augmented reality. And a lot of that has overlapped pretty heavily with retail and e-commerce. And so one of our augmented reality solutions, Lens.io, is what I'm going to start off talking about. And then I'll talk about some of the other stuff that we've been doing recently as well. Okay, so I try to avoid mansplaining whenever possible, so I'll try and explain this quickly and elegantly. So just to define what AR is, generally speaking, I think that AR is what people used to refer to technology where you overlay a digital image on top of the real world. So take Pokemon Go as the perennial example. When you play that game, you see in the background, that's the real world picture, their camera feed. You see it here. And then on top of that is a digitally rendered version of Squirtle. He's a water type Pokemon, for those of you that aren't sure. And so that's generally what people mean when they say AR. It differs from VR, and the VR is typically where everything you see is all digitally rendered, and you're wearing these goggles that block off your total field of view. So augmented reality is augmenting the world in front of you. So there's a lot of everyday use cases for AR, and certainly the most common one is social media. When people are on Snapchat or TikTok nowadays or Instagram, people are taking these selfies, and they have like face filters that put on sunglasses or graduation caps or what have you. Those are examples of everyday AR. There are a couple of other examples too that are out there. There's functional use cases. The Ruler app is a really awesome one. My wife is actually getting new office space, which is an interesting time to be getting new office space. But she used the Ruler app to measure out her new office space and order furniture for that. So that's a great functional use case of AR. And then, of course, brands and retailers have been using AR to do a lot of things like product visualization, product configuration, and then even engagement-based experiences where you get to kind of spend time with the brand or its mascot, or just have a fun, engaging experience around a brand or its product. So, in the past, there have been a lot of challenges with creating and getting AR to your client base. So the big one, very hard to distribute. It used to be the case that you had to make a downloadable native app that you would have to download on the App Store or on Google Play. And that's just something that people have been less and less inclined to do in recent years. And then another one is that content creation for this is highly specialized. Stu mentioned this, but me and my team actually all come from the games industry. We have all this experience working in Unreal and Unity and other custom game engines. And so that's often the kind of environment that you need to create this content in. And it's not just programming. It's 3D modeling, texturing, animation. So yeah, it takes a kind of niche team to create this content. And so, over the years, we've had a lot of people come to us and say, hey, we want to do AR for our brand. We're very curious about it, but there are these challenges. And from that came Lens.io. Lens.io is both a content creation service and a distribution platform that we've developed that allows us to distribute content primarily through the web without the end user ever having to download an app. So that way, if you want someone to just click a web link and see an AR experience or interact with an AR experience, that is possible through Lens.io. So it's intended to be highly portable, frictionless, and then also takes the burden of content creation away from you as the brand or agency. So we have a couple of use cases that I'd like to just go over with real quick. And so this is one that's actually kind of still rolling today. Keurig has a line of brewers that are customizable and also designed to fit in small spaces. They wanted to create an AR experience to let people preview that in their space, make sure that it fit based on real world scale. And so we started with that line of brewers, and now we're kind of slowly bringing on more of their product line. And this is something that you can see on Keurig.com. And then Pilgrims Brands, this is kind of an interesting and fun one. This is one of our earliest projects. They are the world's largest poultry brand and the second largest in the US. And they ran into an issue. This is very interesting. Younger generations do not know how to cook. And they were hoping that they could use AR technology as a way to teach them the basics of preparing chicken. And so we made a series of 4 episodes of cooking and instructional content using their products. All right, so to get to the nitty gritty, everyone always wants to ask the story of efficacy. Well, why is this important? So for us, the biggest thing that we've seen with our clients has been engagement time. Now, unfortunately, I have to be a little bit vague here because I'm not privileged to disclose specifics about information, but I can tell you that a low-end experience for us over the past couple of years has been 30 seconds at least. And a great experience, we have had experiences where average engagement time is measured in multiple minutes. And we're very proud of that. And I think that consistently blows away all of our clients and is something that you don't see with traditional digital media. I have a couple of guesses as to why that's the case. One, probably just because something that's interactive is very interesting to people. 2, if it's something that's functional or something where exploring it is actually a meaningful part of the experience that adds depth or reason to keep on hanging out. I think that matters a lot. And then also, if it's something that you want to share with the people around you or maybe capture a screenshot, put it on social media, I think those are all reasons why the engagement numbers are so great with this AR content. So some other advantages with our platform in particular, by virtue of this stuff being kind of web-centric, web-first content, we can integrate into your existing analytics solution. We kind of choose to use Google Analytics by default, but it is possible to plug into some other kind of analytics endpoint if necessary. Another one is interactivity. By virtue of this all being real-time rendered, we can create custom behavior like mini games or wrap things in UI or direct users from this experience to a landing page. Really, the sky's the limit. We can write custom code around this AR content. And then last but not least, we've actually seen a lot of traffic in this direction. Once we have these AR assets and experiences, a lot of this just ports directly over to social media. So it's pretty common for us to make something, for Lens.io, web-based AR, or native iOS or Android AR, and then port that stuff over to Snapchat, Instagram, and Facebook, or TikTok. All right, so in a nutshell, the big advantages with Lens.io, we consider it a turnkey AR solution where we take care of creating the content and then also distributing it in a low friction way to your clients. No app download required. All right, so I could pause there. I'll go through the other stuff we've been working on, then I'll just pause for general questions. All right, so other stuff we've been working on recently that might be of interest to this group. So, you know, not trying to be an ambulance chaser here, but, you know, with coronavirus, there's been a lot of demand for digital events, much like this one. So we have done a few at this point, and we are kind of quietly building a platform to host virtual events online. So, you know, within the safety of everyone's homes. StoreViz is another kind of B2B offering that we have for retail. And it has a couple of key features. One is product preview in store. So you know, we've had a number of clients who have these very large custom displays that it's not very portable. And if they want to see what it would look like or sell it into a retail space, they can carry that whole catalog of displays or product designs in their laptop, or excuse me, in their tablet, and then preview it in AR. And then also has computer vision functionality. So if you need to track planogram execution, you can take a picture of the shelf and then see what products match planogram and which ones do not. And then last but not least, I mentioned this, we have been enjoying a lot of business with social media. We are officially partners with Snapchat, and most recently, we became an official branded effects partner at TikTok. We are the only WPP agency that has that privilege. And I think that there might only be 7 companies in the US. That might be bullshit, I'm not sure. But there are very few companies that can make this kind of content for TikTok right now, and we happen to be one of them, which we are very proud of. All right, so that's my spiel. I guess I'll turn it over to questions if there are any.
Awesome, Ian. That was very cool, like very interesting technology, and seems like broadening use cases. Maybe we could start with some of the recent work you've been doing around events. Mm-hmm. And it sounds like, I guess, quiet with respect to telling us that you're looking at building a platform around virtual events. You know, what could that look like? And you know, we don't have to get into the specifics of your product roadmap, but sure. You have an example of a high school graduation, but what other events could you power?
Right. Well, you know, kind of our tagline is virtual events for anything, be it, you know, a concert, a conference like this, a wedding, a graduation, yeah, even hosting a meeting or you know, a meeting and then offer breakout spaces for people to kind of congregate after the fact. That's how we've been envisioning the platform.
Got it. And then I guess from like a virtual perspective, it seems like one of the issues with respect to adoption has been, you know, one of hardware. And so how do you think about kind of the next 5 years of VR sure. From an adoption perspective, and you know, what is needed from a hardware perspective? Is it, you know, the cost to come down? Is it the I don't remember what they refer to as the sort of like the kind of dizzy feeling you might get.
Vertigo.
Vertigo. Yeah. Does that need to be, you know, better solved at a lower cost? What allows us to get to the kind of VR world that sure. You know, people get really excited about?
Sure. Well, I guess there will be 2 launching points from this line of thought. So one, our platform, the word virtual is probably horribly overused. AI probably being the only other tech word that I can think of is more even horribly overused. But we use the term virtual not to mean that you have to have one of these headsets on your desk, but right. you know, we're like in a virtual space. You can use your desktop or your mobile phone or whatever device you have.
Yep.
It's not goggles forward. So as for, you know, when will there be mass adoption for goggles? I think price point is certainly a factor. You know, I think an interesting thing that could happen, you know, it's no secret that Apple is pioneering and pursuing heavily these AR glasses that are fit for everyone. Now imagine a universe where these glasses, their display can, you know, either be AR or VR, where they block off your entire field of view. You know, suddenly, you know, that display technology can provide either experience. So yeah, that could push things to be more consumer ready sooner rather than later.
Got it. And then I think you spoke to this earlier on in your presentation around kind of engagement, but talk a little bit more about, in addition to novelty, how do brands and retailers benefit from some of these immersive experiences?
Sure. Well, a lot of what we've been doing is configure it, see it in your space, and that plugs in directly to their e-commerce.
Yep.
So we can't really talk about attribution numbers or anything like that here, but that can be a difference maker in pushing people to make a purchase decision. And then I think a lot of what's working right now too is just getting people excited about the brand.
Yeah.
And so again that I guess brand engagement or interest, or I'm not sure what the right vocabulary word is, but getting people excited about the brand.
Yeah. And are there brand types that make most sense for some of what you're able to create?
Sure.
Because your client or customer list is pretty diverse, from like running shoes through cars, but then also, things that go into like events like, Austin City Limits. So who's right for SubVRsive?
Well, I guess, if I wanted to be the company boy, I'd say everybody.
Right.
I think, things where being able to see it in your space or customize it have been like very easy slam dunks for us. So, be that like, we've been in a lot of talks with furniture companies, automotive, as you mentioned, Keurig, one of those interesting ones where, this is like an appliance where I want to see if it fits in my space. Those are good ones. I think that I don't know if I can say there has been a pattern. I mean, the poultry brand is just this crazy example. I never would have guessed that, they'd come to us and be like, hey, we want to do this, like this instructional cooking online with AR. But it seems like people that have wanted to reach young or hip audiences, use the word hip, have been another common pattern. So
right.
Yeah, the pattern is no pattern, maybe.
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess it creates a lot of opportunity, for the business to go in various different directions, like as an example, events. Yeah. Ian, thank you very much. If there are additional questions, we can ask them in the breakout session. So Ian, to your left, see a little icon.
Okay.
Yeah, and so click there, and one of my colleagues will help manage a breakout session if there are other questions. And then, we'll be at the end of our conference, facilitating double opt-in introductions, and, we'll hopefully make some connections between you and our attendees then.
Awesome, man. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you for coming. Have a great day.